Hello and welcome back to the Master Civil Engineering. In this video, you will learn that how to prepare a detailed estimate of a Gabion cage. Okay, so what is a Gabion cage? A Gabion cage is essentially a box or container which is made from wire mesh material, and it is often filled with stones, rocks, or other types of aggregates. These structures are typically placed in areas that require stabilization due to soil erosion and are prone to landslides and water-induced deterioration. These gabions are often constructed from galvanized or PVC coated wire mesh, which offers strength and resistance to corrosion, which extends the gabion's lifespan even in water exposed environments. Okay, the materials which are used for gabions are typically local sourced stones or rocks which add weight and stability to the structure. This open structure of gabion all allows water to pass through, minimizing hydraulic pressure and reducing the risk of structural damage. Furthermore, by using the natural materials, gabions create a habitat-friendly solution, allowing vegetation to grow within and around the structure, contributing to both stability and biodiversity. You can see the images of gabion walls. Okay, this gabion wall is used for the this Gabion wall is used for channel lining. The second one, it is used as a, you can say, as a bridge abutment protection, and this one is used for a river protection work. Okay, so functions of gabion or roles of gabion in riverbank protection are: gabion mattresses are used for slope protection, it's used for channel linings and bank revetments, and also drop structure and grade control and bridge abutment protection. So these are the roles and functions of the gabion cage, and what is essentially a gabion cage. It is also called a crate work in engineering. Okay, so this was about the gabion. Now coming to the detailed estimate, that how can we prepare the detailed estimate for a gabion wall. You can see I have already drawn a cross section of a gabion wall which I will be using for the river training works. Okay, you can see the water surface level, it is at a height of 5 feet from the bottom of the riverbed level. Okay, and this is here the natural surface level. Okay, so we are using gabion as a river training work here. Okay, so gabion is essentially a wire mesh box. Okay, and it is filled with stones or aggregates. Okay, local stones or aggregates. In my estimate, the length of river training work is 100 meter. That is, I am using 100 meter of gabion cage protection for the river on two sides, along the two sides. Okay, and in market the gabion cage is available in 16 feet into 16 feet. Okay, that is 16 feet. It's actually a wire mesh having length and breadth of 16 feet into 16 feet. Okay, so to make a box, you cannot exceed the perimeter of 16 feet. Okay, in some countries maybe different cross section will be available, but here in India the gabion cages are available in 16 feet into 16 feet. That is, length and breadth of wire mesh is 16 feet, and you have to fold the wire mesh to create a gabion box. You can see the first gabion box which I have used at the bottom is 6 feet. That is, its bottom width is 6 feet. Since total is 16 feet, so 6 feet at bottom, 6 feet at top. The remaining two sides will be 2 feet. That is, total will be 6 plus 6, 12 plus 4, which will be equal to 16 feet. So first gabion box is of bottom width 6 feet, and I am using 6 feet and 6 feet. That is 2 gabion boxes. The next gabion box which I am using is 5 feet bottom and top width and 3 feet side widths. That is 5 plus 5, 10 plus 3 plus 3, which is 16. So total will be 16. Similarly, third gabion box is 4 feet wide at bottom and top and 4 feet along the two sides. Okay, so total will be 16 feet. The fourth gabion box is 5 feet bottom width, 5 feet top width, and 3 feet along the two sides. So total is 16 feet. And the last gabion box is 4 is actually its cross section is square, 4 having length 4 feet. Okay, so these are the gabion boxes which I am using for my river training works. These will be used along two sides of a river, okay, two sides of a river. And the length of the river protection river training works is 100 meter. This is the cross section. Okay, so I have to estimate the quantity for this Gabion wall. Okay, the first item in my estimate is earthwork in excavation by mechanical means in trenches for foundation, drains, pipes, cables, and for shafts. Okay, and the like not exceeding 10 square meter on plan, including dressing of sides and ramming of bottoms. Lift should be up to 1.5 meter, and disposal of surplus excavated earth should be within a lead of 50 meters. It's a complete SOR item which includes excavating as well as disposal of the excavated earth. Okay, for this estimate I am using schedule of rates of India, which includes the rates in INR, that is Indian rupees. You can make the estimate exactly in the same way, only the rates for the items will differ according to your country. Okay, and there will be slight difference between these items in your SOR, schedule of rates, in your country. Okay, for this estimate I am using schedule of rates in India. Okay, for the cross section of Gabion wall, you can see bottom width is 12 feet and the depth below the water surface level up to the river bed is 5 feet. Okay, for my river cross section I will assume that I have to excavate this whole earth, that is bottom width 12 feet and depth 5 feet for a length of 100 meter and for two banks of the river. So number will be 2, length will be 100 meter, width at bottom is 12 feet, which is 3.65 meters, and depth is 5 feet, which is 1.5 meters. So total will be 1095 cubic meters. Okay, rate for this item in SOR is 256.85 Indian rupees per cubic meter. So total amount will be 1095 into 256.85, which is equal to 2,81,251 Indian rupees. Okay, it will be in Indian rupees. So this was for the first item. The next item in SOR is for my estimate, which is taken from SOR, is providing and making of Gabion structure with mechanically woven double twisted hexagonal shaped wire mesh Gabion boxes as per IS 16014 more specification. Okay, mesh wire diameter for this Gabion should be 3 mm. Okay, and shall have a minimum of 10 numbers of openings per meter of mesh. Okay, and it should be filled with boulders with least dimension of 200 mm. Okay, it's a complete item which includes making of the Gabion boxes at the site. Okay, and as well as filling it with locally sourced or available boulders and placing it on site. Okay, and rate for this item is in cubic meters, that is 3093.30 Indian rupees per cubic meter. So we have to estimate the quantities for these Gabion boxes. Okay, at bottom we have two Gabion boxes of 6 feet width and depth 2 feet. Okay, and we are using for two river banks. So first will be two river banks, then two number of boxes at bottom. Length is 100 meter. Bottom width for one Gabion box is 6 feet, so it will be equal to 1.8 meter. Depth is 2 feet, which is 0.6 meters. So for the first one it is 432 cubic meters, that is 2 into 2 into 100 into 1.8 into 0.6, which is 432 cubic meter is for the first Gabion boxes at bottom. The next Gabion box is 5 feet width and depth 3 feet. Again two Gabion boxes, place it symmetrically. So for two river banks, two for two Gabion boxes, 100 meter length, bottom width 5 feet, which is 1.5 meter, and depth is 3 feet, which is 0.9 meter. Okay, so it will be 540 cubic meters. After that, the third Gabion box is 2 for 2 river banks, 2 for 2 boxes of 4 feet width, length is 100 meter, 4 feet bottom width, that is 1.2 feet, and depth is also 4 feet. So total quantity will be 576 cubic meters. Okay, after that the fourth Gabion box is a single box of 5 feet bottom width and depth 3 feet and length is 100 meter. So 2 for 2 river banks, one box, length 100 meter, 5 feet width and 3 feet sorry, 3 feet depth, so it's 270 cubic meters. The last Gabion box at top is of 4 feet bottom width and 4 feet depth, so it is 2 for 2 river banks, 1 Gabion box, length 100 meter, 4 feet bottom width and 4 feet depth, that is 1.2 into 1.2, which is equal to 288 cubic meters. Total quantity for this is, if you sum up all these, is 2106 cubic meters is the total quantity of the Gabion boxes as shown in the cross section along the 2 river banks. Okay, and rate for this item in cubic meters is 3093.30 India rupees per cubic meter. So total will be 2106 into 3093.3, which is 65 lakhs 14,490 Indian rupees. Okay, this was for the Gabion box. After that, the third item is for the backfilling, that is supply and filling of locally available RBM or quarry material, including consolidation and carriage of material up to the site of works. After placing the Gabion box along the river bank, some gap will be left between the side slope and the Gabion box, and you have to fill up these gaps using the locally available stones or boulders or RBM. Okay, or you have to source it from some site. Okay, it's called backfilling. You have to backfilling this quantity. Okay, so we will divide it into the 4 gaps. The first one will be between the top of the 6 feet Gabion box and top of 5 feet Gabion box. Okay, so 2 is for 2 river banks, length will be 100 meter. Okay, this gap 6 minus 5 is 1 feet, so it will be 0. Width will be 0.3 feet, and depth is equal depth of the 5 feet Gabion box, which is 3 feet, so it will be 0.9 meter. Okay, which is 54 cubic meters. Similarly, for the next Gabion gap between 5 feet top of the 5 feet Gabion box and top of the 4 feet Gabion box will be 6 minus 4. Okay, that is this gap, 6 minus 4, which is 2 feet. So 2 number 100 meter length, width is 2 feet, so 0.6. okay, and depth is equal to depth of this 4 feet Gabion box, which is 4 feet, which is 1.2 meter. So total quantity will be 144 cubic meters. The third gap, which is from the top of the 4 feet Gabion box to the top of 5 feet Gabion box, will be 6 minus 2.5. Since 5 feet Gabion box is symmetrically placed, so half of 5 feet is 2.5 feet. 6 minus 2.5 feet will be 3.5 feet, but we will take it on the higher side. Let us take it as 4 feet, because also the side slope of the river bank is inclined. So 6 minus 2.5 is 3.5. We will take the width as 4 feet and depth is equal to 3 feet. So 2 into 100, 4 feet 1.2, and depth 3 feet, which is 0.9 meters. So it's 216 cubic meters. Finally, the gap between the top of the 5 feet Gabion box and top of 4 feet Gabion box will be 6 minus 2, half of the 4 feet Gabion box, since it's symmetrically placed. So 6 minus 2 is, this will be 4 feet, depth will be 4 feet, and length will be 100 meters. So 2 into 100 into 1.2, 4 feet, 1.2, depth is again 4 feet. So total will be 288 cubic meters. If you sum up all these, so it will be 702 cubic meters, and we will take the net quantity as 85%, because there will be some voids between the stone aggregate. So net will be 85% of 702 cubic meters, which is 596.7 cubic meters. Rate for this item in the market, it's the lowest market rate is 800 India rupees per cubic meter. So total will be 4,77,360 Indian rupees. That is quantity multiplied by the rate. So total for these 3 items, that is, will be equal to 72,73,101 Indian rupees, or you can write it as 72.73 lakhs will be the cost for placing the Gabion gauges along the river banks, okay, having the cross section as shown in the figure. Okay, so I hope this solution video was clear, effective, and you definitely learned something new from this. Okay, this estimate was prepared so that you can get an idea that how can we prepare the estimate for river training works using Gabion gauges. You have to just keep some important points in mind, that the Gabion mesh available in the market will be of 16 feet width and 16 feet length. In length you can add up Gabion gauges, but width is maximum 16 feet, and you have to fold the 16 feet in such a way that it will create a Gabion box. Okay, so you can see the first Gabion cage which I have created was having bottom width 6 feet, top width 6 feet, and sides were 2 feet. So total would add up to 16 feet. In some countries length can be different, but here in India it's 16 feet into 16 feet, that is generally available in the market. Okay, if you found this video helpful, you can like this video and share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel, and also you can take the membership of my channel so that you can directly contact me regarding any doubts and any confusion. Okay, I hope this solution video was clear and effective. Thanks for watching Master Civil Engineering, and stay tuned.